Welcome to the Kanban board app in Godot tutorial. In this tutorial series, you will learn about theming, user interface design, loading and saving data, drag and drop and much more in Godot. If you haven't subscribed already, do subscribe, it's free and helps the videos reach more people. Don't forget to like too. So let's get started with this video. Let's first make the Add Item button clickable. So in Godot, we have to set the mouse filter of the UI nodes to allow the mouse to click them. Here we want the button to accept the mouse events. So all the nodes above the button should not block the mouse. Here the margin container has the mouse filter to stop, so we set it to pass. Now if we run the scene and check, the button is getting the mouse events. Let's make the cursor to be a pointing hand. In the button node, set the default cursor shape to pointing hand. Now let's work on the Add Item modal. Add a reference rect to the home node and rename it to Add Item Reference. Set its layout to full rect. Then add a center container and again set to full rect. Then add a panel container. Let's give it some margin by adding a margin container. Set the margins to 30 pixels. And top margin to 15 pixels. Now add a box container to vertically stack elements. Select the panel container, and add a new style box flat. Add a panel to the Add Item reference and move it above the center container. Again set the layout to full rect. This will be the dark background. Set the color to be a translucent dark color. Now let's work on the title and close button. This will be horizontally in the same row, so we will use a etchbox container. So to the box add an etchbox container. To that add a label and a texture button. Give the label some text. And for the button, drag and drop the close icon image to the texture slots. For the etch box, enable the horizontal expand flag, so that it up the maximum space. Now add another box container to the box container. We will use it to vertically stack the title and text box. So, add a label and a text edit. Give the label some text. For the text edit, we need to change the minimum size to 300 by 40 pixels. Give it some testing text too. Let's theme the text edit. So click on the home node, and in the theme, add a class item text edit. You can change the various colors here. I will change a few of them to match the style of the app. Now in the Styles section, add a style box flat for the normal style. Change the color, corner and border radius and border color. We will also give some content margin, which will make the text further from the edges of the text edit. Select the weed box of these two nodes and set the separation to 0. Rename the nodes to be smaller and make more sense. Now let's duplicate these 3 nodes to make the description area. Change the text of the new label and new text edit nodes. So apparently the theme of the scroll bar didn't get saved. I will quickly retheme the scroll bars. If you have seen the previous video, you should have the scroll bar theme already. Make sure you save the theme this time. The scroll bar is covering part of the text, so let's increase the minimum height of the text edit node. I'll set it to 80. Let's increase the vertical separation of the main box container to give the element some room to breathe. In the Add Item label, enable the horizontal expand flag and shrink center flags. And disable the fill flag. To center the label, now let's work on adding the label selector. Duplicate one of the box containers. And delete the text edit. Instead, add a box container. And then instance a few color label scenes. Change the color and give them some text. The margin around the text seems a little extra, so let's modify the color label scene. In the margin container, decrease the margin values. OK. Now, let's add the Add button. To the main box, add a button. Let's style it. Add a style box flat for the normal style. Now change the color, corner and border radius, and border color. In the custom colors, set the font color to white. Drag and drop the normal style to the other styles too. Let's add some corner radius to the panel. So in the panel container, set the corner radius to 8 pixels. Let's also add some more spacing above the button. So to the main box, add an H separator and move it above the Add button. Then in the custom constants, increase the separation. Now let us add the functionality. So, attach a script to the center container. Let's quickly rename the node names to make more sense and to be easier to reference in code. Get a reference to the close button by typing on ready var close btn equals. In the ready method, We connect the pressed signal of the close button to a method, onClose button pressed. Let's define that method. Here we simply hide the parent node. That is, we hide the addItem reference node. Now let's make the addItem button to open the modal. In this app, I am going to use a global signals architecture. For that, we need an autoload script with the signals. So create a script called global signals. Here we will have a signal addItem modal visible which will receive a value. We will make this script an autoload. And move it above the data store. Now in the column script. In the ready method, we connect the pressed of the addItem button to a method. In this method, we access the global signals script and run the show addItem method, and we pass in self, which means this column node. We need to define this method in the script. Here we will emit the signal, and pass in true and the column node. In the home script, we can watch when the addItem modal visible signal is emitted by connecting to it. In this method, we will get two parameters, show and column. If show is true, then we will show the addItem modal, otherwise, we will hide it. When we show the modal, we also want to reset the values in it. But the script is on the center container of the modal. So add the get node cc. Now in the addItem modal script, we will define the reset method. Let's give it a quick test. Nice, the addItem modal shows. The close button works too. Let's change the cursor for the close button to the pointing hand. We want the modal to close if we click outside it. So we need to connect to the GUI input signal. In this method, we check if the event is a mouse button event. Then we check if the left mouse button was pressed. If yes, then we hide the add item reference. Nice, it works. By default, we want the add item modal to be hidden, so in the ready method of the home script, we can hide it. That's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on push notifications if you haven't already so you don't miss a new video. Do like and comment on the video too.